Hello, I want to show you a brilliant way of making a bag strap. It's a unique and innovative way of doing it, and it was created by Lockwood Webb Designs, and that's Natal Webb and Gwen Lockwood. They have patterns, bag patterns for sale, brilliant bag patterns I might add, and this is just the best way I've ever seen a bag strap be made, and they very kindly have given permission for me to show you the technique. But if you get a chance, I'm going to be giving the links to their website and Facebook group. So if you get a chance, join their group and have a look at the website and maybe purchase a pattern or two, because they're very good and they're only sort of just quite new, so they don't have tons of patterns, but watch this space because they're going to have some beauties coming up. So that's that. What we do is we have half vinyl and half fabric. I mean, you can have complete vinyl, you can have vinyl and cork, you can have a mixture. It's nice to have a mixture rather than one particular type. It doesn't really work with just one cotton unless you use something like Peltex inside to give it a firmness. But to have the mixture of the softer woven fabric and vinyl or cork or leather is really good, and it's just a lovely way to do a bag strap. So what we need to do is we need to cut fabric that's 2 inches wide. The strap is going to end up being 1 inch wide. If you need a wider strap, if you need a 1.5 inch strap, then you double it to do 3 inches wide and whatever. But basically, whatever width strap you need to double it to start with. So it's as easy as that to work it out. The length's entirely up to you. This is for a crossbody strap, a crossbody bag strap, should I say, or a shoulder bag that you want an extendable strap for. If you're a tiny petite lady, then you'd probably just want quite a short strap. You don't, maybe 40 inches long, if that. For the larger ladies like myself, I like to have a slightly longer strap. Lockwood and Webb do generally suggest a 55-inch length to start with of each fabric, and that's generally what I follow. And as we know, most fabrics we use, unless we go down the fabric, if we're cutting across, the fabrics are generally 44 inches wide. So we do have to cut more than one strip. So then we have to join them. And this is how we do it. So we get, for instance, the piece of cotton, and we put right sides together and we put it this way down. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit so it's easy for you to see. So we put them like that, and then just clip or pin them, whichever you prefer. To keep them in place. And then what you want to do is you want to draw a diagonal line going from one corner to the other. So just look for where the back of the corner of the back piece is, and just mark a little line so that you know where you've got to send the ruler to. And then going from this top corner here down to the line you marked, draw diagonally across, and we're going to stitch from there to there, back stitch at each end, and I shall come back and show you what we're doing after that. Okay, I have stitched both fabrics together, and then what you do is once you've stitched them like that, you open them up and you fold the pieces back on each other, and then top stitch across, and then once you've done that, trim the excess. And I did the same with the fabric, the cotton, and we trim that as well. So we cut both pieces, and that's the straps ready made. So I'm just going to check the length that we have, and that's the 20-inch, and that makes 50. We've actually cut to 61 inches, so we don't need all that, so I will trim that up. And seeing what cotton we need, because I may need to do a third piece onto this one. 20, 50, 54. So I'm not going to do a third piece. 54 inches is fine, so I'll trim this to 54 inches. And I shall do that now, because then I can show you the next part of the strap. That's 25, 50, and 4. And I want to make sure I do a straight cut. There we have it. And now the next part that we do, which I've already done, I've drawn a line down the centre of this one, of the vinyl, and then we get our trusty double-sided tape, and I go either side of the line that I've drawn. And do it a few millimetres away from the line. So just go along. I mean, you don't have to use double-sided tape. You can stick this down with glue. The only trouble is you end up having to wait for the glue to dry, so it's not as quick. If I do have to use glue, because I do have some vinyl that doesn't stick, the double-sided tape does not stick to. Actually, I need to leave about 3 inches from the end of the tape, and I should have done the same at that end, and you'll see why in a bit. So I shall trim that off. So yeah, leave about 3 inches either end. But yeah, so you may need to use glue, in which case what I do, I always start to prepare the strap before I do anything else with the bag. So that then, whilst I'm waiting for it to dry, I can get on with the bag. I mean, some patterns do tell you to start with the strap anyway, but if they don't, it's worth advancing to that and getting the strap made. Plus, I think it's really nice when you finally finish your bag that the strap's already done. If you then have to make the strap, it's quite frustrating, because you just want to put the strap on and see what it's like. So it is nice to have the strap done. So we've put the double-sided tape, and it's not the straightest, but it doesn't have to be. And then take a piece of the backing off. And I tend to sort of go so far, and then I get into a sticky hot mess if I take it all off. So I'll take so much off and fold it to the middle. and press. And I'm going to keep doing that, and I shall come back when I've done both sides to show you what's next. So the strap, the vinyl strap is all done, and we put that aside. And then the fabric one, I do slightly differently. You can draw a line along, sorry, I'm yawning. Oh, I beg your pardon. Not much sleep as usual. You can draw a line along the centre, but I just pressed it with the iron to form a crease. And then instead of putting the tape along the middle, I put it along the edge. That's because if it folds over on itself whilst we're doing it, it gets stuck. So doing it along the edge, it stops it happening. I've already done the one edge, and again I've left 3 inches at either end. Sorry, haven't got that in the shot, have you? I do apologise. I forgot I zoomed in. Oh, goodness me. Oh, I really need a cameraman. I wonder if my husband's busy. I'm sure he'd love that, wouldn't he? Filming me all day. So yes, I've started peeling the tape off. I go so far, and then I fold into the centre. You really have to try and make sure it's straight, so that you don't end up with curved edges, because that would leave a bit of an untidy edge to your strap. And you keep going. Let's turn my iron on, because I will press this strap in a minute. Okay, that's that. Give the strap a quick press to flatten it out. I really want to make sure that the edges are nice and crisp. Okay, so that's that done. Now, this is the magic bit. This is where we start putting the strap together. And as we did before with the joins, we get the 2 different pieces of material, and we put them across each other like this, just as we did before. Doesn't matter which way up. You know, this could be the vinyl, that could be the fabric, the cotton, should I say, the woven. Okay. Mark the notch where the diagonal needs to go to. So I've drawn the line. I'm going to stitch across, open it up and top stitch and show you. Okay, so these are the pieces joined, and I forgot to say, but that's why you need to leave about 3 inches towards the end free from tape, not folded over. So we end up with that. And then we just need to put some more tape. And I will just put it along the centre for ease, because it's only a short piece. You will find that this tutorial will be added along to any of the sew alongs that calls for this type of strap. It's going to save me time not having to film making the strap. It'll be a lot easier for me, and I'll only do different straps when the pattern calls for a different type of strap. So you'll see this fabric, even though I might be doing different fabric on another bag, but I'll probably explain that each time anyway, but you'll understand why. And this is actually, I've made this for the Taylor Unisex messenger bag by Huff and Cuffs. That's the sew along, that's the 4th sew along pattern we did, or we have done. So yeah. So we stick these down. So there we have one nice long continuous strap that's 110 inches long. So it's just come undone a bit there. We need to get the slider. Okay, so we just insert the slider onto the strap. Like so, and go up to the centre where the cotton matches or meets the vinyl. Now what I want to do before I go any further is to make sure it's going to match up nicely. Yep. It doesn't matter too much because you're going to join the other ends together. Like so. So I've put the strap on, sorry, the slider on, and then just run your strap down so that you know it's not twisted, and keep going. And I'm just going to clip there just to save me having to keep doing it. I'm getting all caught up with the tape backing. Right, and now we want to join these ends together. And I want to make sure that I'm doing it right so that when I've done it, so the way you do it, you've got the pieces like that and turn them that way. That way you won't have a twist at the end. If you did it, for example, like that, you're going to have a twist. So if you're looking at it, turn them both like that and then over. And that way you're sure to have the correct way. And again, this is why you leave the 3-inch at both ends. So I just want to mark where the diagonal needs to end there. If you haven't seen this technique, you're probably thinking at this point that I've lost my marbles. because this is really such a different way to doing it that I've never seen anywhere else. And if you do see it anywhere else, then they've learnt it from Lockwood Webb. I'm pretty sure of that. So draw the line, and I shall go and stitch it and return. So I've done that, and before you top stitch it and cut, you just need to check that it's going to be the right way, which that is. I have done it before. I have found I've twisted it. So just double check before you top stitch and cut. So I'm going to go and top stitch and cut and return. So I've trimmed the edges. I've put my double-sided tape in there because I know you didn't want to watch me doing that again. And we fold the edges in. And the next job we do is to trim any loose bits and pieces and fold this together, and we're going to stitch both pieces like strips together all the way down to the very bottom, across and all the way back up and across at the top. So we're stitching that in place. I shall return when we've done that. Okay, so I've stitched down the strap and stitched across near to the top, and now I'm going to put some rivets in, and I just need to find my rivet punch. So I do try to have them in nice and evenly, and you've got, I mean, sometimes I go down, sometimes two across. Up on a 1 inch strap I like to go down because going across they're too close together. What am I doing? Oh goodness, because I'm talking. So I mark for the first rivet, and then, oops, it's got a life of its own like a snake, and then 1/2 inch down from that, okay, this one is really mainly for decoration. Because we're going to have rivets elsewhere, and it does secure it more. Okay, get my rivet press, my green machine, and press them down. I'm not sure that I went fully down. Oh, it did, yeah. So there we have the rivets. And now what we need to do, you need to decide which side you want showing to put the clasps on. Now, I hate vinyl straps being on my shoulder. When they're on clothes, they slip off. So I have the vinyl on the upper side and the cotton underside, because that tends to stick to fabric and doesn't slip off. Plus, when you're holding your bag, you can still see the nice fabric on the strap, so it doesn't really matter. So I want the clasp to sit up above the vinyl like so, and now we bring the strap up and through the slider. So the clasp that we've put on is now stuck on the strap. It can't come off. I'm trying to put it short to show you. Like so. So we've got the slider and the clasp. And now with this end, we get the other slider, again making sure it's the right way up. Put the clasp on. Now you can turn over, and we need to fold the fabric over. Now you can do a stitch there if you like to. If you want to do a little stitch down, then by all means you can, or just add rivets. That's entirely up to you. I am going to stitch across there just to anchor it down, and then I shall be back. So there I've stitched it across, and again as before I'm going to add a couple of rivets. So I've marked where I want them to go. And those of you that haven't seen me using this before, this is called a rivet punch, a screw punch. Sorry, and it's brilliant. It's much better than using the hammer, and you know when you've gone all the way through because it sticks to your poly board. I can't use the hammer. I misfire all the time, and I can't get through cotton fabric. I'm just not strong enough. And so buying this screw punch has been the best purchase of all. Just goes through, as you saw, nice and easily. And I don't have any trouble now. I used to use this punch, which sometimes I still use, but I often found that by the time I'd gone through, it had gone offline and it wasn't central, so the rivets never looked right. But now having the screw punch, it goes straight down and is where it's meant to be. Oh, there you go. So that's our strap made. Now how good does that look? There's no, apart from this bend here, there's no raw edges. I mean, it's just lovely. I love it. So thank you Lockwood Webb for this. Just absolutely brilliant.